everyone, my name is Natalie and welcome to another episode of I Had a Drink With, the show where I get to sit down with amazing leaders in the tech industry, ask them about their experience, and we get to try some funky flavoured drinks in between just for fun. Now today I'm here with Raph Hennessy. Now Raph is the head of engineering at a fantastic automotive data and SaaS company called AutoGrab. Raph, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. Now, Raph, I'm going to take a moment to explain a little bit about what we're going to do here today. And for those of you who haven't, been able to tune into one of these episodes before, but basically, I've got 4 questions for you. I'm going to ask them to you, and then you're going to get the chance to impart your amazing wisdom onto our audience. And in between, I'm going to get you to try and guess what flavored drink we've got here in front of us. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So, generally, I like to start off the first question just with a little bit about yourself. So I'd love to know a little bit about your career so far and how you got to where you are.
Yeah, totally. I think probably the best place to start was back when I was 8. I was building a cafe in my parents' garden because I was into construction at the time, and then I decided it was important to advertise the cafe and promote it. So the best way to do that would be logically to make a website for it. And I found some out-of-the-box tools where I could make a site for the cafe, but then after some time I found some frustrations with those tools, and I wanted to learn how to go beyond that. So I downloaded a HTML course, and I started teaching myself how to make a website from scratch. And I think at that point something really clicked for me, and I realized this was something I was really interested in. I really liked solving problems with code and how it took away the limitations, like when I had the out-of-the-box tools. And then for the next few years I became slowly more and more involved in tech and software. But then I also got really addicted to Minecraft, and this is relevant because I then discovered the Minecraft mod development community, where there's a huge community of hobby programmers who helping each other learn and develop Minecraft mods together. It was a really amazing collaborative environment where I picked up a lot of foundational programming skills that I still use today.
Wow.
And then from that point on, I started to try to take on really ambitious projects with the scope that was a bit too much. My best example was I tried like an operating system from scratch. There's not many resources online on how to make an operating system. I spent some months trying to do this on my own, and then I posted about it online. It got some attention, and ended up having 8 developers working on the project with me as an open source effort. But and it was an amazing experience to learn about open source programming, collaboration, and also project management to some degree. I kept on building these ambitious projects for a few years, and then eventually I learned to dial back the scope a little bit to something more reasonable because I kept on getting burnt out. My favorite project I made in that time was a website where you could play Cards Against Humanity with your friends online. And it was really successful. We ended up actually getting, I think, a million people used the site, and then I got an email from the Cards Against Humanity legal team, so we had to shut it down.
That escalated.
And then I decided I'd try to, previously a few years before that I tried to get into freelance work, but I've been really overwhelmed by the process of finding like your first client. There's a big barrier to entry, so a few years later, after getting almost sued by Cards Against Humanity, tried again. I had a lot more success, and I was able to secure some work, and for some time then I was doing freelance contract work until eventually Chris, the co-CEO of AutoGrab, reached out to me, offered me a position at his startup. At the time I think they had 2 full-time employees, and I've been there almost 2 years now, and it's been an amazing journey watching the company grow.
Fantastic. That is such a really authentic starter story. I really enjoyed listening to that. And with that, I'm going to start off with the first drink. So cheers. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, very similar.
This is a new one. I haven't tried it.
I feel like I've had this before.
Yeah, you might have. This isn't one of my strange ones. I'm sort of easing you into it. This is the one you can get at the supermarket. It's actually very nice. Just the flavour, it doesn't have to be the brand.
Yeah, no. I think. It's really hard. I know I've had it before. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's like sort of orange lime.
It's in the fruit area.
It's in the fruit area.
Yeah, exactly. It's passion fruit.
Right, it's passion fruit.
Yeah, Exactly right. Fantastic. All right, so that leads me to my second question. So you mentioned that you're a self-taught engineer, which is really, really cool. I would love for you to maybe impart some advice that you might have for anybody else who's self-taught and looking to break into the industry.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I definitely can't overstate the value of project-based learning, because by just building a project end to end, you're going to gain a number of really important skills. Firstly, you're going to gain engineering skills. You're going to learn new frameworks. You're going to learn new technology and how to use it. But most importantly, I think you're going to gain problem-solving skills. So when you're trying to build something yourself end to end, you're inevitably going to hit a lot of roadblocks, and you're going to have to consult maybe the internet, documentation, books for answers. But then at some point, you're also going to have to maybe reach out to someone online or use Google to get some more specific answers. And what that requires you to do is, and also I see an issue, firstly, when sort of a junior programmer typically comes to ask someone more senior, or maybe on an online community, etc. They will bring a lot of context into the question. They'll talk about a lot of different areas that are going wrong, instead of what the skill that you learn through the project learning is boiling down the question, finding exactly the thing that you're struggling with, and figuring out what you can figure out on your own and what specifically you need to reach out for. And it applies to a lot of areas, but specifically in something like programming, where there's so many specific skills you need to understand. Breaking down your problem is so important to being able to continue progressing, and it really unlocks using like more expert resources and tapping into knowledge of more experienced developers around you, if you can consolidate your question to something that they can easily handle.
Amazing. Well, with that, we'll get into our second drink. So this one is where we sort of start with the interesting one. This one doesn't smell like what it's supposed to be, so I don't know what it's going to taste like. Yeah. This is a really hard one. It tastes like nothing.
It tastes like pink.
It does. It tastes like pink. So pink is indicative of like the classic flavor of cotton candy.
Right.
Do you?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Is that like coming through on the second?
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones where it's like, if you know what it is, then that's what it makes a little bit more sense. Amazing.
That's actually quite nice.
Yeah, it is actually. It's a good one. So that takes me to our third question. As a young head of engineering, I'm really curious to know what some of the challenges that you face as a young leader are, and how you've gone about overcoming those challenges.
Sure. I think, to be honest, the biggest challenge I think I faced is sort of imposter syndrome. But it's sort of a double-edged sword, because on one side, there's a lot of times where I feel really daunted by something I have to do, or overwhelmed, I feel like I'm not cut out for a task. But then if I rationalize it, think about what's involved, I know I realistically have the experience and the skills necessary to do it. And then there's other times where it's really important to talk to someone who has more experience in a specific area, particularly when it comes to more leadership and business level tasks, but also just in engineering in general. It's been really important for me to figure out how to determine the difference between imposter syndrome and a genuine need to talk to someone else about a problem.
I think that is really, really, in particular, very valuable advice that a lot of people can take something away from, especially people who are aspiring to be young leaders in the industry. So thank you for that. And we'll go on to our third one. This I'm excited about, but I'm not so sure that you're going to be excited about it, because it's a polarizing flavor.
Okay.
And the smell gives it away a little bit.
I think I know what this is. I think that you already had this on.
Yeah, I might have already had it on a previous
It's pickle soft drink.
Yes, well done. Nailed it. That's exactly it. Love it. And that brings us to our last question. So tell us a little bit about AutoGrab and your journey with the company.
Yeah, absolutely. AutoGrab, as you said earlier, is ultimately a automotive data company, and our core product is a subscription software for car dealers that use to visualize all the cars on the market and calculate a valuation for those cars using real-time data. And the company really took off during COVID, where car prices spiked in a way that we'd never seen before. And suddenly the legacy systems that car dealers are relying on to value their inventory and cars on the market was no longer viable, because the value of cars was changing every day, and the previous systems maybe keeping up to date every couple of months. So AutoGrab suddenly took a huge hold in the market, and then since then we've only strengthened our dealership product and also started moving to new verticals, so working with finance and insurance companies on the same problems we're working with the dealers at a different scale, and then also growing into new regions. We've got a very strong basis in New Zealand. We recently sold 51% of the company to Trade Me, the biggest marketplace over there. And then we've moved into Malaysia and the UK, which has been really exciting. And over the last year, we also recently received VC funding in Australia. Before that point, we were growing a little bit slower, and it's been really exciting to see the impact of the company and how the explosive growth we've seen after that, not just in the company, but also in the industry and the reputation that we've got alongside the growth that we've had.
That's amazing. It sounds like a really, really exciting place to be. And with that takes us to our last drink. So hopefully you enjoy this one. I haven't tried this one before. It does smell like what it's supposed to taste like. Let's see whether it tastes like what it's supposed to. This is a hard one. It smells more like what it's supposed to taste like than it tastes like it's supposed to taste like.
I don't know what this is.
Yeah, this is tough. This is very tough. Is there like a particular flavour coming through, or?
I'm so bad at this game. I don't know how to tell what a flavour is, and then if I don't know what a flavour is, I'm like, of course.
Yeah, when I give it away, you'll be able to taste it straight away.
It's going to be very disappointing for me.
Yeah. Do you want me to give it to you? It's marshmallow.
Oh.
Yeah, see? It's almost in the aftertaste of that one. It's really interesting.
It looks like a marshmallow.
It does, exactly. I find the colours are very indicative of the flavour.
Yeah, once you know what they are, the colours, of course.
Exactly. Well, look, Raph, that's the end of today's interview, and I really just want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with me this afternoon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Amazing. If you'd like to connect with Raph, I'm going to tag them in the video's description, so you'll have an opportunity to do that. I'm sure they would love to hear from you. And if you'd like to connect with myself, feel free to do so as well. We can have a chat about the market. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye.